Okay, welcome everyone to the Deep Dive. This is your English podcast by Cambridge Veritas. Today we're diving into something really practical, really useful.
Absolutely. If you're learning English, especially, maybe more at the beginner stages, it's so important to be able to actually express yourself. Not just understand, but like share your own thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, what you like, what you maybe don't like so much.
Exactly.
Oh,
And that's where our source material today comes in. It's really focused on helping you do just that, express opinions, likes, dislikes, but in a way that sounds, well, natural in everyday chat.
it's got a great setup. There's a conversation example, kind of a real life scenario, and then it breaks down all the useful phrases from that conversation.
Right. So our mission, our goal here is really to unpack those key bits of language for you.
We want to pull out the words, the phrases that'll help you feel, more confident sharing your thoughts and connecting with people when you're speaking English.
Think of it as boosting your conversational toolkit.
Okay, so let's dive in. The source starts with this conversation between two people who've just become roommates, Lauren and Sarah.
Ah, the classic roommate scenario. Perfect for finding out what someone likes. Right?
Totally. And they jump right in. Sarah spots Lauren's t-shirt.
Yeah, and she says something like, I see from your t-shirt that you like baseball. I'm a big fan, too.
Right there, I see you like, based on an observation, and then sharing her own interest with, I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan. That's such a great, simple phrase. You hear it all the time. Works for anything, really. Sports, music.
Food, movies, yeah. And Lauren replies, mentions her brother's team won, and Sarah's reaction is just simple and positive. That's awesome.
Awesome. Yep, the source points that out as one of those really useful, all-purpose, positive words. You'll definitely hear that a lot.
And then Sarah adds a bit more detail, kind of showing a contrast. She says, I'm not very athletic, but I love to watch baseball.
Mm-hmm. So she's making it clear, she might not play sports much herself, not very athletic, but she really enjoys watching. Love to watch.
Which is relatable, right? You can be a fan without being a pro player.
Definitely. So then Lauren guides the conversation a bit, asking more broadly, now tell me, what else do you like to do?
Okay, what do you like to do? That's your standard question for hobbies, activities, things people enjoy doing.
And Sarah's answer highlights her main preference.
Yeah.
What I like to do best is dance.
Oh, that structure. What I like to do best is, that's a really clear way to signal your top favorite thing.
Yeah, shows a strong preference. And look, they find something else in common. Lauren says, I like to dance too. Think you'll be up for checking out the local clubs.
Up for, okay, let's pause on that. Up for checking out the clubs. What does up for mean here?
The source explains it really clearly. To be up for something just means you want to do it, or you're willing to. It's pretty informal, friendly.
So asking, are you up for, is like asking, do you want to?
Exactly. And Sarah, she's definitely up for it. She says, oh yeah, and the restaurants too. Speaking of which, are you hungry? I'd love to grab a bite.
Ugh, speaking of which, that's a fantastic one for flow, isn't it?
It really is. The material shows how it lets you smoothly switch topics, but to something related to what was just said. They were talking about clubs, restaurants.
Which naturally leads to thinking about food.
And notice her response, I'd love to grab a bite. It's not just yes, the source says I'd love to, is enthusiastic, polite, shows she's really keen.
Plus, grab a bite. Super common phrase for getting something to eat, usually pretty quick or casual.
Mm-hmm. And Lauren matches that energy. She says, are you kidding me? I'm always up for going out.
Are you kidding me? That's interesting. It can show surprise, but here, it's more like emphasis, right?
Totally. It's like saying, of course, or definitely. And adding always, I'm always up for it, just underlines that she enjoys going out all the time.
Okay, so they've found common interests, made some plans. Then the chat shifts to their immediate surroundings, the room. Lauren asks directly, what do you think of our room?
And there it is, the classic phrase for asking for an opinion. What do you think of? Simple, direct.
Then Lauren gives her opinion, and this is where we get into expressing, well, dislike.
Right. She starts carefully, though. To be honest with you, I really can't stand that dark color on the walls.
To be honest with you, why start like that?
The source highlights this. You use it when you're about to say something you think the other person might not like or might disagree with. It kind of cushions the blow a little.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
And then can't stand. That sounds pretty strong.
Oh, it is. Much stronger than just, I don't like, can't stand means you really, really dislike it. It bothers you.
And she explains why. It's, like, really depressing, using like there.
Yeah, the source mentions that use of like as a filler or for emphasis, especially common among younger speakers.
Hmm.
It adds to that feeling of, ugh, this is bad.
Then she states her preference. I prefer light colors. Simple, direct. I prefer A to B.
Exactly. And then she turns it back to Sarah. Do you like them?
And Sarah agrees. No, I agree with you. They're horrible.
I agree with you. Essential phrase for showing you share the same opinion. And horrible, another one of those strong negative adjectives.
Like depressing, earlier. The source lists others, like terrible, gross, disgusting. Using a word like horrible leaves no doubt about how you feel.
Definitely not. And this shared dislike actually brings them together. Lauren's reaction is relief. Man, I'm so relieved. I think we're really going to get along.
Using man there as an exclamation, showing strong feeling, the source points that out. And get along.
Crucial phrase. It means having a good relationship, without arguments or problems.
Wow. Okay, so that short conversation example is just packed with useful stuff. So many different ways to share feelings and opinions naturally.
It really is a goldmine. And the good news is, the source material then goes deeper, explaining these phrases and more in a section called Improving Your Conversation.
Right, it gives you the nuts and bolts. So let's unpack some of those key terms the source highlights, starting with a really fundamental one, like,
These seem simple, but the source points out it's different jobs. You've got what do you like for things that please you? Do you like coffee?
and what do you like to do? Which is specifically about activities you enjoy. I like to swim.
Then there's would you like, which is the polite way to offer or ask what someone wants. Would you like some water?
And the source also mentions that informal use of like for emphasis, the I was like, whoa kind of thing.
Right. Then there's love. We use it for people, of course. But for things or activities, it just means you like them a lot.
So I love this music or I love cooking. Much stronger than just like, and we saw that enthusiastic I'd love to earlier.
Definitely. Okay, asking for opinions. What do you think of? We saw it in the conversation, and the source confirms it's your standard go-to phrase, what do you think of this plan?
Easy enough. And are you kidding me? That emphatic one?
Yeah, the material confirms it's for emphasis, showing something's really true or maybe untrue, often with a bit of surprise. The way you say it matters too, that rising intonation.
Adds energy for sure. Now, what about up for?
We touched on it. The source says it means wanting or being willing to do something. Are you up for pizza tonight?
Yeah.
Is basically, do you want pizza tonight?
And the source gives alternatives too, right? Like feel like doing something.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
be in the mood for something. All good, natural ways to suggest doing things together.
Okay, back to strong feelings. Stand and can't stand.
Right. The source clarifies that while stand can mean tolerate, can't stand, almost always signals strong dislike. I can't stand waiting in long lines. It gives you that stronger option beyond just don't like.
Useful. And related to liking things. Big fan.
Super clear, says the source. To be a big fan or not be a big fan tells you straight up if someone likes something. I'm a big fan of reading, or, not a big fan of horror movies.
Simple, effective. The source also groups those useful adjectives, the positive ones.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Fantastic. Great. Amazing. The source notes they're often pretty interchangeable when you just want to say something is really good. Your presentation was fantastic.
And the negative ones for strong dislike. Horrible, terrible, depressing, gross, disgusting.
Using these really helps convey the level of your feeling. The traffic was terrible. Ew, that smells gross. And like you said, your tone of voice often matches these words.
Tone is key. Okay, what about managing the conversation flow? We liked, speaking of which.
Yeah, great for linking related topics smoothly. I need to buy milk? Speaking of which, did you finish the cereal? Connects the ideas.
Nice. The source also tackles tell versus say. That can be tricky.
It really can. The basic difference, as the source explains, is that say is just about uttering words. What did you say? While tell usually involves directing the information to someone. Tell me the story.
And the source gives some really common phrases with tell, like tell me, for asking for info. And it points out a neat grammar thing.
Oh yeah, the word order. After tell me, plus a question word like where, what, who, you often use statement order, not question order. So tell me where the station is.
Not tell me where is the station. That's a great tip for sounding more natural.
Definitely. The source also lists things like don't tell me. When you're afraid of the answer, I tell you, for emphasis, meaning I'm serious, and can tell, meaning you can figure something out.
Like, I can tell you're happy today. You just know. And you could say, or you might say, for suggesting something.
Those specific tell phrases are gold. Also, the source mentions actually and as a matter of fact.
Right, what's their function?
They often introduce a piece of information that might be slightly surprising or adds an interesting contrast or fact. I thought he was Spanish. Actually, he's Portuguese.
Or, are you free later? As a matter of fact, I have plans. Adds a bit of nuance.
Exactly. And plus, not in the dialogue, but the source includes it. It's just for adding another reason or point.
Like, this cafe is great, the coffee is good, plus they have free Wi-Fi. Simple way to add support.
Yep. And to be honest with you, which we already saw again, the source confirms it's for introducing something potentially sensitive.
Okay, and then there's a quick list of other useful bits from the conversation, like finally for relief, so for introducing known info, yeah for yes, man for feeling, get along, hang out, grab a bite, roomie.
And definitions for scholarship and Little League. Understanding all those little pieces helps the whole picture make sense.
So when you put it all together, the real takeaway here isn't just memorizing words, is it?
Not at all. It's seeing how these phrases work in action, how people use them to, well, connect with each other, show their personality, keep the conversation moving.
It's the difference between just making basic sentences and actually having a proper conversation, sounding more like, well, like you in English.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Using things like, I'm a big fan, or I can't stand, knowing when to drop in a, speaking of which, that's what makes your English sound more alive, more natural.
And for you, the learner, especially if you're starting out, practicing these isn't just about vocab. It helps build that fluency, that confidence.
The more you use them, the less you have to think about them.
Hmm.
They become automatic.
So how can you start putting this into practice? Well, the source gives you the tools. Maybe start small.
Yeah. Try using I like or I don't like this week. Or ask someone, what do you think of about a movie or a song?
Tell someone you're a big fan of something you genuinely enjoy. Just try one or two.
Don't worry about being perfect. Experiment. These are your tools for expressing who you are. The more you play with them, the more comfortable they'll feel.
Okay, so to wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a little challenge, something to think about and maybe try out loud.
Think about something you really love, a hobby, a food, a place, and think about something you, well, really dislike.
Now, try saying how you feel about them using some of these phrases we talked about from the source.
Maybe say, I'm a really big fan of your favorite thing, or I absolutely love something else. And then maybe, to be honest with you, I just can't stand that thing you dislike.
How does it feel saying it that way? Practice connecting these English phrases to your actual feelings and opinions.
That's the best way to make them truly yours. Keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep finding your voice in English.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive today. We hope this was helpful.
If you enjoyed it and want more tips for natural English conversation, please do subscribe to The Deep Dive, your English podcast by Cambridge Veritas.